Hello and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will, and with me as always is my rubber ducky,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for Abducktion, a weirdly strategic duck kidnapping game. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. Abducktion is a light strategy game of duck matching, a UFO, and logic. Players are all interns on an alien UFO, working for an intergalactic corporation that has one main function: abducting ducks for research purposes. But ducks need to be collected in specific formations, and you'll have to use spatial logic and cunning to rearrange your ducks before your opponents to win. 'Cause that's science. All right, Will, so how does the game change for two players?
There are no changes for a two-player game.
No.
In fact, there is no bot. However, there is a Dave, and Dave is your manager. And Dave is represented on the cards. And he's not funny, just like your manager.
In the rules, too.
Yes.
He says odd. I wouldn't say funny things, but
I
odd.
think the manual itself is funny.
Yes.
I don't think Dave is funny.
Good point.
Dave is just there.
Dave. All right. So issues at a two-player count is only going to be an issue if you think it's an issue, and that it's a longer game. Because you use the same number of cards, regardless of player count.
Which is the timer of the game.
It's the timer of the game. So with two players, each player is going to get more cards, but it's going to take more time to do so. This is supposed to be a light, casual, fast game. So that may not be what you want. But on the other hand, what it does well is it's very robust. Lightweight game for two players.
More robust.
More robust.
Yes. I wouldn't say it's the most robust game there is.
No. It's just comparatively between player counts.
I mean, you got ducks, UFOs, and Dave. So.
And so you will get higher scores. So the two-player count is just going to play a little more strategic, a little more tactical, and I mean very little, than four players. Just because of the nature of the deck of formation cards being your timer.
Yeah.
So for accessibility, unfortunately, there are some challenges because they did some kind of kooky, wacky production things, which some of them work, but some of them don't. And what doesn't work is they put reflective coating on the formation cards. And these are the cards that are out in the middle of the table so that everyone can see what order their ducks need to be in. The backside is highly reflective. Thankfully, you don't really need to look at that. But when you get to the expansion, then you'll need to be able to see the difference of them. But the faces, all the ducks on there are also reflective. Most of the cards are okay because it's just one duck. So it's just one duck color. But when you start getting with multiple colors, then it gets hard to tell them apart. They use four colors.
Yes.
The
silver, gold, blue, and purple.
Blue and purple are really hard to tell apart. You have to hold up the card, reflect it in the light to be able to see the difference between the blue and the purple. Now, the good news here, which I'm going to say right now instead of later in the what this does right, is there's text on every single one of these cards above this picture diagram. And it clearly explains what you need to do because you're not actually looking for purple ducks because there are no purple ducks. There's no silver ducks. Now, there are blue ducks, so that was kind of an odd choice.
Right.
But
I thought they went with orange.
No.
In one of the
it's
gold cards.
No, it's gold, silver, blue, and purple.
Oh, okay.
The gold is somewhat orangey. Yeah. I will say that.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. So the text will tell you that you're looking for different colors. So it's either all one color, two different colors, or up to four unique colors. And so the text is very clear and explains it. But since it's a card out in the middle, you're not going to be able to read that text from a distance. You're going to see the ducks. And so if you think they're all the same color, that might be bad if it's not actually all ducks of one color.
Right. But fortunately, that's also open information, too.
It is. So you just may need to pick up the cards more frequently.
And read them.
Yep. So let's see. So some of the text is small, and on those formation cards, that is one of the big issues. But even the cards you have in your hand, because some of the card abilities get really detailed, they just kind of made the text smaller to make it fit into the same size box at the bottom. So that's not too great. But the great thing is your hand of cards is supposed to be kept secret, but honestly, you can't do anything.
Yeah, you can't mess with other people's hands.
You can mess with other people's ducks.
Yeah.
But you can't actually take a card from anyone else, and they can't make anyone discard cards. So we played it open-handed.
Yeah.
The amount of interaction with the components, you're moving those ducks around a lot.
But they are cute to play with.
They are cute.
You can't help but quack.
You can't help it.
Quack, quack.
But it is one of those things, because you're trying to arrange the ducks, and that's your pretty much primary goal.
Yeah.
You'll be handling them a lot. It's not as bad as other games, but it is still something to consider. You had a big issue with the UFO, though.
Yeah, the UFO is this kind of a rubbery material, and it has this
Flaps.
4 little flaps at the top where you shove ducks in and pull ducks out. That can actually be really hard to get your hand into, especially if you have a big hand.
Yeah.
Or even just a moderately sized hand.
I mean, even for me, I had trouble getting stuff in, and I wouldn't say I have long, skinny fingers, so I should be just fine, but I still had some trouble.
And there was a number of times I was pulling ducks out, and then those flaps caught the duck and pushed him back in. and then my hand just came out with no ducks.
It's like one of those claw machines.
Yeah.
Duck, no duck.
No duck.
No duck. So those are generally all the things that are accessibility challenges for this game. But what it does right is all that text. The action cards, it is black text on a white background, so there's good contrast there. And even on the formation cards, they use it is a white text. The background, I think, is slightly reflective, so it's
Well, because it's a coating.
yeah, it's coated. It's weird coating, so it's kind of bluish, but it's dark. So there's still good contrast, even with that weird reflective coating on it.
Just note that that coating will also scratch easily.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. I've read comments already. If you've played this a lot, because you have to shuffle the formation cards to make them random, that coating gets scratched up pretty fast. So you may want to sleeve it if you care about that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then overall, the good news cognitively, this is a very straightforward game, so it's not going to be too hard to learn. On top of that, there's a lot of variability. So you know how we said that for a 2-player, the game can go long. Well, if you want a shorter game, you just use fewer formation cards. And if you want an easier game, you use the lower point formation cards. If you want a harder game, you use the higher point. So there's a lot of ways to tweak this game to make it work for the group that you're playing with. But still remember, overall, it is still a very lightweight, short
I just like how they spell out all these tweaks in the rules.
Yes.
To show you that they thought about it, this is what you can do.
Yes, and that is highly appreciated, so you don't have to try to make your own house rules on how to make it work for what you want.
Yes.
All right, that's everything.
Okay, for 2 players, would you recommend?
Yes, I think this is highly fun at 2 players. I think it would be a little more chaotic at higher player counts.
Yeah.
That can be good or bad depending on what you want out of the game.
Honestly, at higher player counts, I would just say this is one of those things that you don't have to pay attention until it's your turn.
Right.
And that can be very disappointing for some people, but at the same time, don't get all hooked up on it, because it's not trying to be more than what it is, and it's just a duck matching game.
Yep.
Accessibility.
Mostly, yes. Like we said, that reflective coating might not be good for some people with vision disabilities, and that UFO trying to get the ducks out could just be a little challenging. I think most people are going to be okay. Just make sure to play in well-lit room, probably, for the reflective coating.
Yeah. I think the parts that are difficult are kind of overcome by the fact that it is charming.
Yes.
So you may not see them as being big obstacles. They are there, but that kind of can be overlooked by the fact that it offers something pretty to look at, something fun and different to interact with.
Oh, yeah.
And the novelty of that makes it not so bad.
Yeah. The high production values definitely catch your eye, so that's definitely a good thing.
All right. With all this duck kidnapping, what do you think they're actually researching with all these ducks?
I have no clue. What do you think?
How to make better quackers and cheese.
That's a stretch, but I've got nothing because I don't know why you would kidnap ducks.
Well, it said in the rules that it's because they're everywhere in the galaxy.
Maybe it's to learn how to make better jokes, to quack people
Because I did
up.
a terrible one. All right.
All right.
And why would you ever roll with just one when you can be rolling with two?
And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.